My beloved child, there is a moment in life that changes everything, a moment so quiet that most people miss it, yet so powerful that it reshapes the path ahead. Today, you were guided here for a reason, and before we go any further, do not skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What you are about to hear is not just another message. It is a story unfolding behind the scenes of your life, a story involving someone whose heart has carried your name longer than you realize. While you have been focused on your own journey, wondering when things would finally move forward, someone else has been standing at the edge of a decision. For a long time, they hesitated. For a long time, they questioned every feeling, every sign, every possibility. They told themselves to wait. They told themselves that the right moment would arrive on its own. But something has changed. Something inside them refuses to stay silent any longer. And that is why this message matters more than you know. There was a season when this person believed distance was safer than action. They convinced themselves that time would solve everything. They thought answers would somehow appear without effort. Yet every day that passed brought the same thought back into their mind. Every distraction faded. Every attempt to move on led them back to the same place. The truth remained standing before them no matter how far they tried to run from it. You. The connection they feel has become impossible to ignore. That is why you must stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next part of this story becomes even more surprising. Imagine someone standing at a crossroads. One path feels comfortable because it requires nothing. The other path feels uncertain because it demands courage. Most people choose comfort. Most people stay where they are. Most people let opportunities disappear. But this person has reached a point where remaining still feels harder than moving forward. They have spent countless moments wondering what would happen if they finally took a step. What would happen if they stopped waiting? What would happen if they trusted what their heart keeps repeating? Those questions have grown louder and louder until they became impossible to silence. Do not skip. Stay with me. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what happened next was unexpected even to them. The signs around them started appearing everywhere. A familiar memory. A random conversation. A moment that reminded them of what truly matters. It felt as if life itself was placing reminders directly in their path. Every reminder carried the same message. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop standing still. They tried to ignore it. They tried to push it away. Yet the message kept returning. Day after day. Night after night. Until eventually they realized that waiting was no longer protecting them. Waiting was only keeping them from the answer they sought. And that realization changed everything. You may not have seen it happen. You may not have noticed the shift. From the outside, nothing looked different. But inside their heart, a decision was forming. Slowly at first. Then suddenly. The kind of decision that arrives after months of uncertainty. The kind of decision that creates momentum. The kind of decision that turns thoughts into action. That is why this title matters. Your soulmate is done waiting. Those words are not small. Those words represent a transformation. They represent a moment when hesitation loses its power. They represent a person choosing courage over fear. And once that choice is made, events begin moving faster than anyone expects. Stay till the end. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. There are people who spend years hoping for a sign. They spend years wondering whether change is possible. Yet change often begins with a single decision. Not a giant leap. Not a dramatic event. Just one decision. One moment when someone finally says, "Enough. I am ready." That is the energy surrounding this story right now. Someone who spent far too long questioning every possibility has reached the point where action feels inevitable. Think about that for a moment. While you were wondering whether progress was happening, progress was quietly taking shape. While you were asking whether anyone was thinking about you, someone was struggling to stop thinking about you. While you were focused on today, someone else was imagining tomorrow. And the more they imagined tomorrow, the more they realized that standing still could no longer continue. This is where the story becomes powerful. Because the bold step was not born from impatience. It was born from certainty. There is a difference. Impatience rushes forward without understanding. Certainty moves forward because understanding has finally arrived. This person is no longer trapped between endless questions. Their heart has already chosen its direction. Their mind has already accepted what it tried to deny. And now the distance between thought and action is growing smaller every day. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Some people believe that life-changing moments arrive with noise and excitement. But often they arrive quietly. A decision made in private. A promise whispered to oneself. A realization that changes everything without anyone else knowing. The bold step began that way. Quiet. Invisible. Hidden from the world. Yet powerful enough to change the future. Right now, there is a reason you feel drawn to keep listening. There is a reason your attention is still here. Because deep inside, part of you recognizes this energy. Part of you senses that something is shifting. Part of you knows that this message is building towards something important. And it is. The truth is that every meaningful connection reaches a turning point. A moment when one person decides they can no longer remain on the sidelines. A moment when silence becomes heavier than action. A moment when waiting becomes impossible. That turning point has arrived for them. For so long they watched from a distance. For so long they wondered what the future might hold. But wondering is no longer enough. Hoping is no longer enough. Imagining is no longer enough. They want movement. They want clarity. They want answers. And answers only come when someone is brave enough to seek them. Stay till the end. Do not skip. Something huge is waiting for you. What makes this story remarkable is not just the decision itself. It is the timing. Because timing changes everything. A decision made too early can fail. A decision made too late can be missed. But there are moments when everything aligns in ways nobody can predict. Moments when preparation meets opportunity. Moments when courage meets purpose. Moments when the universe seems to whisper, now. That whisper has become impossible for them to ignore. Every day they feel it more strongly. Every day they feel closer to the moment they have imagined for so long. The fears that once controlled them are losing their grip. The doubts that once held them back are fading into the background. What remains is a determination they did not have before. And determination changes outcomes. This is why you must keep listening. Because the next chapter has already begun. Whether you can see it or not, movement is happening. Whether you can measure it or not, progress is unfolding. Whether you expect it or not, a bold step has already been taken. Not everyone recognizes the importance of a single step. But every journey begins with one. Every reunion begins with one. Every new chapter begins with one. And once that first step happens, the second becomes easier. Then the third. Then the fourth. Before long, what once felt impossible becomes reality. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The most surprising part is that this person no longer wants to leave things to chance. They no longer want unanswered questions. They no longer want unfinished stories. They have reached the point where they are ready to discover what happens next. Ready to find clarity. Ready to move forward. Ready to see where this path leads. And that readiness is powerful. Because when someone truly becomes ready, obstacles begin losing their strength. Excuses lose their influence. Fear loses its authority. The heart becomes focused on one thing, moving toward what matters. That is exactly where they are now. As this message comes to a close, remember the title. Your soulmate is done waiting. They just took a bold step to find you. Those words carry more meaning than they first appear to hold. They describe a shift from hesitation to courage. From uncertainty to determination. From standing still to moving forward. And if you have stayed until this moment, then remember this above all else: the story is not ending. The story is beginning. The chapter of waiting is closing. The chapter of movement is opening. The chapter of wondering is giving way to the chapter of discovery. So keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Keep your attention on what unfolds next. And most importantly, remember what I told you from the beginning. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. A remarkable truth is beginning to reveal itself, and if you have stayed this far, then you are exactly where you need to be right now. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The story you started hearing is becoming deeper, stronger, and far more surprising than anyone could have imagined. What seemed like a simple feeling inside someone's heart has now grown into something impossible to ignore. Every day, Every thought, every quiet moment has been leading toward a single realization. They can no longer stay where they are. They can no longer pretend that their heart is not calling them toward something greater. And that is where everything begins to change. There was a time when they believed patience alone would solve everything. They thought if they waited long enough, the answers would somehow appear. They thought that life would create the perfect moment without any effort on their part. But something unexpected happened. The longer they waited, the stronger their feelings became. The longer they remained silent, the louder their heart spoke. The longer they stayed still, the more they felt pulled toward you. This was not something they planned. This was not something they expected. Yet it became impossible to deny. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One evening, while reflecting on everything that had happened, they realized something that completely changed their perspective. They understood that opportunities do not wait forever. Some moments arrive only once. Some doors open for a short time and then disappear. Some connections are simply too valuable to leave to chance. That realization shook them. It awakened something inside them. Suddenly, every excuse they had been using started losing its power. Every reason for waiting seemed smaller than the possibility of moving forward. And that is when the bold step became more than an idea. It became a decision. Think about that for a moment. Decisions are powerful. They separate dreams from reality. They separate wishing from doing. They separate the people who wonder what might happen from the people who discover what actually happens. This person has crossed that line. They are no longer standing on the edge. They are moving forward. Quietly. Determinedly. Purposefully. The most fascinating part is that they may not even realize how much courage they have already shown. Courage is not always loud. Courage is not always dramatic. Sometimes courage is simply deciding that fear will no longer make decisions for you. Sometimes courage is choosing hope over uncertainty. Sometimes courage is taking one step when your heart tells you it is time. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the days passed, they noticed something unusual. Every path seemed to lead back to the same thought. Every plan somehow included the possibility of you. Every vision of the future felt incomplete without your presence. No matter what they focused on, they found themselves returning to the same question. What if now is the right time? What if waiting has already lasted long enough? What if the future they have imagined is closer than they think? Questions like these have power. They create movement. They create momentum. They push people toward action. And that is exactly what happened. Something inside them shifted. The doubts that once felt enormous suddenly seemed small. The fears that once felt overwhelming started fading into the background. What remained was clarity. Clearer than it had ever been before. They finally understood that some opportunities deserve courage. Some people deserve effort. Some connections deserve a chance. And that understanding is changing everything. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Imagine standing at the beginning of a bridge. Behind you is the comfort of what you already know. Ahead of you is the possibility of something extraordinary. Most people spend their lives staring at that bridge. Few actually cross it. But this person has already taken the first steps. They have already decided that standing still is no longer an option. That is why this moment feels different. That is why this message feels different. Because it is not about possibilities anymore. It is about movement. It is about action. It is about someone finally choosing to follow what their heart has been trying to tell them all along. The most surprising revelation is that they have been preparing for this longer than anyone realizes. Every lesson they learned. Every challenge they faced. Every moment of reflection. It all led here. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Every experience helped shape the courage they now carry. And now they are using that courage. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What happens when someone stops resisting what they truly feel? What happens when someone finally accepts what their heart has known for a long time? What happens when they decide to pursue the connection they can no longer ignore? Everything changes. The energy changes. The direction changes. The future changes. That is exactly what is unfolding right now. While you may not see every detail, movement is happening behind the scenes. Progress is taking shape. Doors are opening. Paths are aligning. Possibilities are becoming reality one step at a time. What once seemed distant is becoming closer. What once seemed uncertain is becoming clearer. What once seemed impossible is becoming possible. That is why you were meant to hear this message today. Because the story is moving forward. The waiting is ending. The next chapter is beginning. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As you continue listening, remember this. The boldest steps are rarely taken by people who have no fear. They are taken by people who decide that what matters is greater than their fear. That is exactly where this person stands today. They are not perfect. They do not have every answer. But they have something more important. They have determination. They have clarity. They have the willingness to move forward. And that willingness is powerful. Very powerful. Because once someone commits to a path, extraordinary things can happen. The impossible starts looking possible. The distant starts feeling near. The future starts arriving faster than expected. The story is still unfolding. The journey is still moving. The revelation is still growing. And if you have stayed until this point, remember this message carefully. The person connected to your destiny is no longer waiting for life to make the decision. They are making the decision themselves. They are stepping forward. They are choosing action. They are choosing courage. So keep listening. Keep believing. Keep watching. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you, and the next part of this story will reveal an even more astonishing turn that changes everything.